Good evening, everybody. Welcome to part 2, programming your Baofeng DM32uv for DMR. Now, DMR is a little bit more complicated, but once you get the gist of it, it's not actually that hard at all. So first of all, the thing you want to do is you want to go and locate information of your local DMR repeater. So once again, I use the repeater book, and I've done a search for within 10 miles of North Vancouver, and I've done a search for DMR repeaters, DMR capable repeaters only. And as you can see, it's come up with a result of 4 of them. Now the one that's closest to me, just for ease, is this one, which is V7RAG. Which is in North Vancouver up on Mount Seymour. So let's click into this one and see if we can get the information that we need. Okay, so as you can see, Mount Seymour, V7RAG, North Vancouver, BC. The downlink is 443.4. The uplink is 448.4. So the downlink is listening and the uplink is talking, which is an offset of 0.5 megahertz. Now then, the next thing you need to know is the DMR repeater's color code. And in this case, it's color code 1. The next thing you need to know is what time slots hold what talk groups. Now, as you can see, there's no information on this bit about what the time slots are and what talk groups are on each time slot. So what I've done is I went to this site here, bcfmca.bc.ca. So that is this one right here. I'll just open it up, and this is what the page looks like. Now this is about Motorola DMR, which is what we're going to be doing, which is what the Baofengs do. They don't do the Fusion or all the other ones. It's only DMR, and I believe it's the original format of DMR was by Motorola. Anyway, I may be wrong in that case. So as you can see, it's talking about, this is the BC Frequency Modulation Communications Association, which is BCFMCA. Now they go down here about talking about repeater groups, all that sort of stuff. The DMR robot repeater sort of tries to give you an explanation of the live network status here, of what's going on. You can see there's a few down here, but most of them are up. And here we go again. There's more information about the repeaters. V7RAG, frequency 443.4 plus a plus 5 megahertz offset for transmitting, and DMR code 1, and what the actual device is that actually handles the DMR, which is a Motorola. So, and then you see here it says updated talk group information can be found on the BC TRBO website. So let's go there. So it's that one, which is here. Now in here, as you can see, it's bctrbo.net, British Columbia DMR wireless DMR network, and we got here. We have talk group lists, and as you can see, we have BC1, BC2, local net 1, Parrot, PNW1, and it goes on, and it goes on, and it goes on all the way down to the bottom here. Now we can see on this that each one has its own talk group ID and time slot. So each DMR repeater has its own color code. Each channel has its own channel ID and a time slot which it's been allocated to. So you've got all the information here now. So what we do is we jump to... Ooh, I closed it. Okay, so let's jump to the programming software. And let's plug the radio in and get it turned on. Okay. Okay, so I've now got it plugged in and it's ready for transmitting. I'll just make sure that's in focus. Okay, so let's read from the radio. Always read from the radio first. Okay, let's read it. And what we're going to do is we're going to set up one DMR channel onto the V7RAG repeater. And then I'm going to input the torque groups, and we're going to do a transmission test on the parrot torque group. Now the parrot torque group literally means that when you transmit on that and you end your transmission, the repeater will then send it back to you to make sure you can hear what's going on. And if the parrot works, then providing you've got the torque group IDs and time slots for the rest of them right, then you'll receive them and you'll be able to transmit on them. So, okay, so we've got there, if you remember from the analog program, you've got V7 up to, you've got simplex. So let's just clean things up a bit here. So let's delete that, delete that, delete that. I don't want the simplex anymore, and we're going to concentrate on this one. So it's double clicked on it and we've opened it. So just for just the way I do things, so we're going to have copy V7RAG. As I say, this doesn't really matter, it's just something I do. Into the channel name. The next thing we need is the receiving and the transmission frequency. So let's go back. So the receiving frequency is 443.4. So 443.4, receiving frequency is 443.4. Oh, well, that's right, it doesn't let me do that, will it? So it's 443.4. And the transmission frequencies is 448.4. So that's 448.4. Okay, next. So you have to tell the CPS this is a digital channel. So let's drop that down. I'm not too sure what these two mean yet, so we're just going to use digital. So digital. Leave the transmission power, I'm not going to touch that. Scan list, I'm not touching that either. I'll go through all these other functions in a later video. This is just basically programming the DMR and that's it. Simple, straightforward. Transmission admit, so always. Emergency system, going to leave it alone. Squash level 2, going to leave it alone. APRs, going to leave it alone. APRS, not APRs. Okay, the next thing we're going to be interested in is over here. So TX contact, that is if you want to talk directly to a particular contact. Again, that is something we'll do in a later date. So let's get the configuration set up properly here. So RX group, oh no, sorry, the receiving group list. Okay, we haven't created the receiving group list yet, so let's just wait for the moment. Let's go back to here, and the one we're interested in is the parrot. So parrot is torque group 9998, time slot number 1. So, remember we need to do the, sorry, I'm jumping backwards and forwards like a rabbit here. So this is color code 1. So DMR is color code 1 for this repeater. Let's get the color code put in. Okay. Now the time slot that we're going to be doing for the parrot is time slot number 1. So as you can see, it's in slot 1 already. DMR ID, that is something else. If you want to be able to transmit on DMR, you have to have an ID. And the only way you can get an ID is if you have a valid amateur radio license. Anyway, I'm going to leave that the way it is for now. I'm going to leave the APRS reporting. Okay, so we have color code 1 and time slot 1 we're going to have for this channel. So let's save that. So as you can see, it's now a digital channel and it's got all the information in here. So the next thing we want to look at is back here. Parrot is 9998 times slot 1. Okay, so let's go back to the programming software. Now we need to create a contact, digital contact. So let's create this contact and we'll call it Parrot. Oops, I need to double click on it. So this one is going to be called Parrot. And I believe Parrot is a private call. We can go through that in a minute. Oh, digital contact, sorry. Let's go back again. RX group list. So I'm just jumping backwards and forwards here. It's been a while since I programmed DMR. Okay, so we need a digital contact. Let's see if it is group private. We'll call it Parrot. Okay, this is slightly different than what I'm used to here. This is... Oh! Okay, we'll call it Parrot. This is why we put in the ID. Talk group DMR ID. So the talk group DMR ID is 9998. So let's do that. 9998. And we click OK. So we have digital contact number 1, which is Parrot, talk group 9998, it's a private call. When you get onto the, see like BC1 and stuff, you don't set that as private call, you set it as group call. But in this case, we're just doing a private call because it's just going to repeat back to us. Okay, next we need a receive group list. So we click on that. So we've got receive group 1, let's just leave it, it's that name for now. And where's the contacts? Oh my goodness me. Okay. Talk group DMR ID. Okay, I've come across a... So this is a contact, frequent contacts, digital oh no, so, oh my god, what am I doing? Contacts 9. Okay. Oh, sorry, my Google's just turned my light off there. Okay, Google, turn the light on. Okay, let's go back again. So we've got digital contacts is here. All the information is there. It's DMR ID, it's everything. Okay. So we go to the group list. I don't have a contact to add to this group list. It's catching me out again, isn't it? Okay, that's a frequent contacts. Hold on, I think maybe I've got the wrong around here. Okay, let's go to frequent contacts. Contacted into here. We call it 9998, which is its talk group DMR ID. We go into here, call it Parrot. Okay, yes, I was in the wrong bit. And we click OK. Let's go back to the digital contacts, and then it's just, I don't think we can delete it. No, it has to stay there. Right, okay. Okay, so let's just call this, I don't know, mistake or whatever. Just so we don't get mixed up, so let's just call this error. As we have to have something in there, but it won't let us like not, if you see what I mean. Say, won't let me select it, no, won't let me delete it. It requires at least one contact. Okay, so we have our frequent contacts. I don't know why it's called that, a weird name. Okay, parrot, talk group, and private call. Go to the receive group list, double click, and we still don't have. What am I missing here? Okay, let's go back to that channel. Okay, so we have. Oh, let's call it parrot. Oh, right, okay, yes. Right, okay, this is it. Yeah, this is where DMR gets a little bit complicated. Okay, so we have a receiving group. So I'm going to call this one parrot. So this channel is going to be dedicated to contacting the parrot on V7RAG. Oh dear. Okay, then click OK. So we still need a group list to be able to receive RX groups. Next, RX groups 2, previous, okay. Let's just delete that river. Frequent contacts, repeater, RX groups. No. This is a little bit. It seems as though they have it slightly different here. You need a receiving group to be able to hear what's going on. Okay, well, I need an ID, so let's delete, 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 delete. Now, give me a second here. It's been a while since I got my ID, so give me a second. I'm just on my Baofeng 1701 here, so give me a second. I just need to remember where we go. Radio. Ah, there we go. Okay, I'm just going to pop my ID in. And I'm going to go just to reference DM32. Okay, let's turn off this. Okay, so that's my DMR ID. Let's go back to the channel. So the channel is reading that it doesn't have an RX group list. This available contacts. This is, yeah, so frequent contacts, it's not that one. Digital contact, it's not that one because it's not even showing me an option. Messages, encrypt. Okay, let's call it a group name. Let's call it DMR. Okay. Still nothing available. So, is it analog contact? Can it be analog contacts? DM32. Okay, I'm just gonna, let's just upload this. This is a bit confusing. It's slightly different. Well, slightly. It's actually quite a bit different than the 1701. The 1701 is actually quite easy. So let's write this information to the radio. Oh, we need to do the digital contact as well. So let's go. I'm just gonna have a couple of seconds think here as to how maybe this radio doesn't let you listen to the, doesn't let you, I think it's called promiscuous mode or something, where it will just let you listen to all the digital channels on that repeater. Anyway, let's wait for this to finish. getting on there? Come on. Digital encrypting, can't do that. Well, not here in Canada. You're not allowed to encrypt digital signals on a handband unless you openly provide the decryption. Okay, so radio's back on. As you can see, it's V7RAG and it's only got one channel, so it's displaying both channels, both on one channel. Let me try this, see what happens here. Ah, it didn't connect. It failed to connect to the digital trans. Oh. It must have been in use. Okay, let's try again. Oh my god. There's something wrong with my antenna here. Victor Alpha 7 Charlie Oscar India, radio check on Parrot V7RAG. Something's not right here. Let's try that again. Victor Alpha 7 Charlie Oscar India, radio check on Parrot VE7RAG. Interesting. I'm not getting anything back. Okay, hold on, I'm just going to lift the radio up here.
And because of that...
Okay. Hold on a second. What the hell? This is annoying. V7RAG testing from Victor Alpha 7 Charlie Oscar India. Okay, this is not good. Give me a second, I'm just going to fire up the 1701.
4.
I need to get it on the right channel, hold on.
1. 4.
Okay, this is odd. I may end up cutting this all out until I work out what the hell's going on. Okay, that's enough of that. Yeah, as you can see, the scenery's slightly changed here. This is a few days later now. I got a little bit sick of trying to work out what the hell I was doing wrong. I just could not work it out. I had my other digital radios having a problem. They also did the same thing where the parrot wouldn't respond, and yeah, so I thought I must have done something wrong, or there was actually something wrong with the actual parrot receiver at the repeater on V7RAG. So the next day I got up in the morning, tested it again, same thing, no response from the parrot. Anyway, so I went to work, and when I was at work, I decided to quickly jump on to the BC Ham Radio Facebook page and made a post about V7RAG and asking if anybody else was having an issue trying to get a response from the parrot. And lo and behold, after a few minutes, the actual moderator, the owner of the page, came back and said he was able to get on all the other channels on there, BC1, BC2, all that sort of stuff, but he did not get a response from parrot. And then another person jumped on about an hour later and said the same thing. So that sort of put my mind at ease that it was actually something to do with a parrot server on V7RAG. And then later on that day, the actual administrator of that repeater came onto the group and advised that yes, there was a problem with parrot after a critical update they had to do, and he'd fixed it and asked me to test it later on. Jumped in the car at the end of the day, tested it, and my Anytone, which I bring around with me every year, which is my Anytone 878 UV2 Plus, brilliant bit of kit. I'm still trying to learn it all. And lo and behold, I got a response from parrot. So I went home, and yet again, I did it again on the DM32uv, and again I didn't get a response. Now the problem that was confusing me now is that I could see that the DM32 is connecting to the parrot, because the DMR radio has to establish a connection to the repeater in order to be able to in order to be able for you to talk. So if you don't have a valid connection, it'll just beep at you. It'll go beep or something like that, and it'll say unable to connect. And it was actually connected. It was telling me it was connected to parrot, blah 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 blah. So I then sent a transmission. Nothing came back. I then did it on my other radios, and they all received a response back. Now, I had one of my radios turned on, and I did another transmission again from the DM32, and that other radio picked it up, obviously because it's got the same DMR ID. So it picked it up no problem at all, but the DM32 didn't. So this led me to think that, oh well, maybe there's a problem on the receiving of the radio, the DM32. So I swapped it around with the UV32, same antenna by the looks of it, same issue. I swapped it around and covered my other antennas, same problem. However, when I moved out of the house, and I even came down here, which is further away from the repeater than where I live, it's no problem at all. So I've got a weird quirk on the DM32, which is, for some reason in that room in my house, it has a serious problem with receiving. Yet, if I'm outside of the house, or it's fine, even if I'm really far away. So, and all the other radios are fine no matter where I use them, because I'm pretty close to that repeater. So this is an odd one. I'm just wondering if anybody else is having an odd thing like that. Also with the software, oh my god. I don't know if you saw me messing around. Well, you probably did. I'm going to speed that video up because I was on the software for a long time trying to work out why I couldn't get the parrot into its own receiver group, which is what I was trying to do. Because if you can't get the the talk group into a receiver group and add that receiver group to that channel, you're not going to be able to hear anything. And then all of a sudden it just started working. It just started. The option was there to take it. So a little bit of a view later on in the. Once I uploaded my the analog part of this, I noticed a few people were popping in saying there's a lot of issues with the software. I'm guessing this is one of them. For some reason it just would not put that channel or make that channel available to go into a talk group. Then all of a sudden it did. And the other thing that was handed out to me, which I should have picked up on, but I couldn't because I didn't do a repeater test, did I? I did a simplex test, not a repeater. And that is that the RX and the TX tones on the software, when you write it to the radio, are actually reversed. So in the transmission on the software, if you put a tone in there, when you program it to the radio, it actually puts it in the receive, and vice versa. So that's another thing to watch out. Not too sure what other software glitches there are, but hopefully we can get them fixed. So this radio is giving me a bit of a headache to begin with. I don't like it. It's a bit big for my liking, but I do like it. Anyway, I've been jabbering on for like nearly 5 or 6 minutes now. I'll try and cut this up into bits and nibbies. Anyway, so here's the test. Let's get this turned on.
1.
Okay, as you can see, the screen's not the greatest out here in the light, and it's not even bright out here. And I've got the screen set to its highest. So let's get it to a position where it works better. Okay, so after all that chatter I've just done with you guys, this is the radio working. So let's have a look here. Victor Alpha 7 Charlie Oscar India doing a radio check on Parrot on V7 RAG.
Victor Alpha 7 Charlie Oscar India doing a radio check on Parrot on V7 RAG.
Right, so all that program I had done, it was correct. It's just the issues I mentioned earlier on, and that's a nice little video I did. But anyway, I'm signing off now from down in Kate's Park in North Vancouver, and I'm heading home to see when I can do the... Yeah, I wonder if the UV32 has a similar quirk. Anyway, this is Victor Alpha 7 Charlie Oscar India signing off, and I will speak to you all soon. Good night.